at my outfit for this weekend. So let's see what we can find. This is different than anything I have. So hey guys, we're at my dog training class this weekend. You have already seen the outfit that I bought, but if you have not been to my training, you will be seeing the video soon. Okay, there's a lot of people in the. Oh, I guess everybody's kind of in the cars too, because I see people in the blue car. The Jeep has someone.
He's in a Toyota Black Camry.
Do you see it right here? Is that it?
That's a Lincoln.
Oh, right here. Camry, right here.
Yeah, it's a Camry.
And there's someone. Oh, there's someone with a big dog that Mazda's not gonna fit. Alright, 5 more minutes. Like 3 more minutes before we have to get started. Just gonna tie my shoes and we're gonna head in. I don't want anybody to get hurt. Towards dogs. Okay, let me see his leash. Let me see the leash. Come. I know you already have a phone call on him and everything, but it's not fit. So we have to interrupt the behavior. So when he's brought, I'll explain more to you. Good. It's okay. Come. So he's very apprehensive of what's gonna happen. So if you don't know how to so the reason I take the leash, and obviously the training that he already has helps, but you have to be able to understand how to utilize that. This means if you're only seeing his aggression or he's unpredictable, you never know what he's going to do, you're only seeing that, and so you're leaving him in fear.
He's getting used to little short sessions with her.
Okay.
Her dog. This is making him very anxious right now.
Okay.
By the dog, I'm afraid to put the collar on.
Okay, let's bring him close to my dog here. Let's just see what his intentions are. Shh. Leave it. Shh. Hey, leave it. It's okay. Hey. So what you want to do is more pressure. You can even do the start when he has the mask on. Here. No. Wait until he settles down and then release. He's frustrated because he's already agitated. That's why he snaps and everything like that. But as long as he relaxes, that goes away.
I know exactly her background. I know the people she came from. She was put on a 15-foot chain outside at 6 months old and just left there. No dogs, no people.
So she lack of socialization.
She was hit with tools and 2x4s and kicked. She was just an outdoor living security system for wild animals and strangers.
Okay. And then so with other dogs that she sees now, it's like any dog she sees she's reactive, or depends?
When I first got her, I was living there in the same state, and she lived with her brother. And we brought home a 6-week-old puppy that was her nephew.
Okay.
She didn't like him for a couple days, and then she was fine with him.
So we're about to start now part 2 of the training. The first step is kind of like I get to know each dog, see what's going on, understand a little bit more, see how they respond to my first handling that I did. And then now that I know exactly what they need, I go back and I tell each client exactly what I believe is going to really help their dogs get to the next level. So I'm gonna get everybody closer together and start to really cover like that really exciting part of the training that everybody wants. Is it ready? Oh. Yep. So what I need to do? Hello? I couldn't really hear myself at first. Okay, so if you guys want to come a little bit closer with the people that have dogs, make a smaller circle. So make sure you guys give enough space between each dog. If you're passing by a dog, if you're going to someone's house that have a dog, if your dog, is unsure of people coming to your house, we're gonna cover all of that. The first thing that we do is making sure that we're able to focus on the obedience and the structure of the dog. So if they don't understand what to do with themselves, they have a big problem. You can see this dog actually have some obedience, but he doesn't have structure. How did you train him? Did you train him yourself, or did you send him to a trainer?
We had 2 trainers.
Okay.
One of them was like a board and train, after which he started doing this.
Okay. How old was he when you sent him for training?
He was about 6 months old.
Okay. So that could be just age related because, at 6 to 8 months, they become more reactive, they become a little bit more mature. But they did his obedience training. He knows sit and down.
He knows it.
Yeah. And then what about the second trainer?
The second trainer, he was trying to do some heel and like how to walk.
Will you guys work together, or did he take the dog for training?
I used to keep him there. He kept him for 5 days, and every day I used to go and have about an hour session.
Okay. And he would let you practice hands-on and?
With him.
No? Okay. Then we're gonna do obedience. So to do that, we need to have the right tools. So like I said, you already have a prong collar, but he was still dragging you around. So I didn't really change anything other than I did pull his collar a little bit forward because you have to be using every tool correctly. So if you don't have the right fit and the right type of collar for your dog, everything that I'm showing you right now, it's harder for you to do. If you don't have the right tools, your dog won't be able to follow these instructions so easily. So you may be trying to do the same thing, but you feel like it's impossible. She hated it the whole time for 3 months. Why do you think she hated it? How do you know that she hated it?
Oh, it was weird with her.
She would be kind of like...
She's young still, and
Okay.
I didn't want to confuse her.
Okay. So yeah, with any tool that you use, you have to know how to use it correctly. So I'm a big fan of using a prong collar, even for a dog like your dog that's extremely scared. I would recommend we put a prong collar on her. There's nothing to correct. I already got her here. I touched her. She was walking with me. She's pretty comfortable with me, right? But this is a controlled environment. So I'll explain why I'm a big fan of a prong collar, especially for dogs like her, because what the prong collar does, the way that I use it at least, it gives the dog instructions. It's not just to correct the dog. Actually, I barely use it to correct the dog. If a dog is really aggressive, it doesn't matter what you have them, you have to be correcting them, with the leash. But the point is a dog like her does not, at this point, she doesn't need any correction. She needs you to tell her what to do and to be able to follow directions. The prong collar is designed to get a dog's attention with the minimum amount of pressure possible. So this means actually when she feels the sensation of the collar, as long as it's fit correctly and used correctly, the sensation of the collar is gonna get her attention, communicate with her. So if you're able to communicate with her clearly and reinforce things where she actually wants to follow directions from the leash, she's going to become less afraid of things because you're making things clear to her. Every time she is just here and she doesn't understand this and you're not able to communicate with her properly, she continues to be afraid and become defensive. The links can come apart, but that's why we have a backup that you can use with it, so just in case that happens. None of those are good reasons to say that the collar shouldn't be used, because the collar is very effective, and I'll show you guys now. I work with a lot of people that have been very afraid of the collars, or just how they look, or because they heard different things, and then it's very rare that someone doesn't want to use one after they leave my class. They want to go and buy one because it does make a huge difference. It's a little bit on the looser side, but if I take another link off, it's going to be too tight. And like I said, a dog like her is pretty responsive. The more your dog is high-strung, the more you want to be careful with, make sure that it's fit properly, because it's going to make the collar more effective. Second step, the leash is not on there yet, so my next step now is just letting her know that the collar is there. And she's doing pretty good for a fearful dog, because some dogs, they can be very sensitive to the sensation of the collar, so this little bit of pressure here can make them jump up and down because they anticipate that something bad is going to happen. And people just see that and they also get scared of the collar. So just understand why they're scared of it. Obviously, this here cannot hurt her. Now, she's responding really well. I'm just going to remove her to show you something really quick. Every time she's unsure like this, it's really important that you stay calm. It's only because it's something new, it's going right over her head. But I'm doing it on purpose because it also helps just sensitize her more. It's like the more, if she acts like this about anything and like, it's okay, she's gonna get more afraid. If you stay calm, she learns to tolerate things more and more because if you don't make a big deal of it, she doesn't think it's a big deal anymore. Now, I wanna show you really quick how this collar, they're not designed to puncture the dog and hurt them. I can punch on them. They're not here to hurt, puncture the dog. It's just a sensation of the collar. So I wanted to just take it off just to show you that. The prong collar is great to communicate with them, but if you don't know how to use little techniques to make the collar more effective, it may look like it's not working. It can also confuse the dog, make them more afraid of it. So, for example, I want him to go around me. He did great right now. Let's see if he's gonna do it again. Right there, he got stuck. So a lot of people are like, come on, and you're forcing the dog. He doesn't know to respond to this pressure. Watch how easy this is to fix. I use my body, a little bit of movement, now he did it. So if he ever gets stuck, make sure that you're kind of using your body to help the dog follow directions from you. Sometimes you're just going forward and he can be hesitant and pull back. You know, if you just keep forcing him like this, watch, there's confusion. If I just let go of that pressure, come, it becomes easier for him to understand. Which for him, like you see, is really easy. You do this here, he wants to respond. But this is not just a matter of like making the dog comply and okay, now he's good. Because if he's having reactivity issues with other dogs, he's uncomfortable around the other dogs. So the next step is after we do this, come. Good boy. Just create a neutral, positive environment for him around other dogs. He doesn't have to be laying down and scared. He can be doing normal dog things. Good boy, come. Yes. Sit. Yes, come. So that each time he's around a dog that is reactive, perfect. It's okay, no, come on. Every time he's trying to get scared, just get him to focus on other things. So it's always 2 steps because now he's learning to have a positive association with other dogs. So he's able to come here and pass by. And I always say it does not matter how the other dog is behaving. You teach them to behave the same way because he knows you are calm, you feel safe, they don't have to worry about it. Exactly the definition of like keeping them in a bubble. It's not that he's aggressive towards everybody, but it actually makes it a little bit more complicated to work with them in a way because like, it almost makes him like, why would you do anything? Because you know, some people can walk him. He's not really going out of his way to bite so much. Like he's not super aggressive and loud. But if he doesn't get over, like out of this little bubble that he's in, then you have so many restrictions. It's like whether like new people cannot pet him, or men cannot pet him, or kids cannot be around him. Whatever it may be, this is just so you can introduce him to anyone and be able to teach him to be okay with that. Good boy. Other than he gets tense and growls, like I don't see a lot of other problems. So I'm gonna, let's put a prong collar on him too. Where you guys leave, I'll give you the name of the collar that I think is best for your dog. Sometimes different dogs in the same class, I would recommend different types. Just they are designed slightly different, you know, so some of them work a little bit different. You want to be able to tell your dog to sit and lay down. You know, because if you get them to that level, the dog is learning to be compliant. You want to get him to that level. And I'm going to show you how to do this. We're going to get him doing the same thing. Now you can go ahead and pet him. Right here, you guys can just move around. And you just have him being able to go right in the crowd. Now think about this like going downtown, maybe for like Main Street hyenas, like on a busy day. It's not a matter of just getting the dog there. It's a matter of making sure that he's walking like this all the time, calm. So first step is if your dog is lunging, you gotta be able to go there, make them stop. And then after you get them to be calm and following directions, it's just a repetition of this. Now every time he goes out and he's able to just pass by and he's calmer, he's learning to become more comfortable with the fact that people are around him. Prong collar only goes on when the leash goes on. It should be every time the leash goes on. You want to be consistent with that, so otherwise the dog becomes conditioned to only responding when the collar is on. You want them to get conditioned to responding to you because you're able to reinforce it all the time. You don't want them to think that it's just because of the collar. So the more consistent you are in the beginning, the better. The prong collar, when you remove the leash, the prong collar comes off.